Welcome back to Healthy Daily, the place where we share science-backed, trustworthy health information. And sometimes, we challenge things you've believed for years. Today we're starting with a tough question. Are all fruits really good for seniors? Could some of the fruits you eat every day, thinking they're healthy, actually be quietly affecting your knees, joints, and ability to move comfortably? Now, if your first thought is, but fruit is natural and good for you, why stop eating it? You're not wrong, but you're not entirely right either. The truth is, certain fruits, when eaten too often or in the wrong way, can cause inflammation, weaken your joints, and even disrupt your circulation, especially if you're over 60. And in this video, we're going to reveal 6 common fruits that could be doing more harm than good, possibly ones sitting in your kitchen right now. But before we dive in, if this is your first time here at Healthy Daily, don't forget to hit like, share this video with a friend, and subscribe to our channel. That one small click gives us the motivation to keep bringing you honest, helpful content made just for the 60-plus community. Keep your legs strong. Keep your mind sharp. Because sometimes what harms us isn't what we don't know. It's what we thought was harmless all along. Ready to find out the truth? Let's get started. Mangoes are a favorite in many American households, especially during the summer months. With their sweet, juicy flesh and vitamin-rich goodness, they show up in everything from smoothies to fruit bowls and even post-dinner snacks. But what many seniors may not realize is that behind this tropical delight is a surprisingly high level of natural sugar, something that can quietly work against your joints and mobility as you age. Here's the thing, ripe mangoes are loaded with fructose, a type of sugar that's easily handled by young, healthy bodies. But after 60, our metabolism slows down, insulin production drops, and the body doesn't respond to sugar as efficiently. That means every time you enjoy that mango, your blood sugar spikes, and that spike triggers inflammation. Over time, this chronic inflammation starts to settle right where you don't want it, in your knees, ankles, and lower back. A 2012 study from the Harvard School of Public Health found that high fructose intake, even from fruit, can raise CRP levels, a key marker of systemic inflammation. And as we age, our cartilage becomes more vulnerable, while our ability to fight off inflammation weakens. Let me share the story of Eleanor, a 71-year-old retiree living in Miami, Florida. A passionate home cook, she started making mango smoothies for her family every weekend. Thinking fruit was healthier than baked goods, she'd blend a large mango with almond milk and a bit of honey each morning, especially after her light yoga routine. But soon, Eleanor began waking up with stiff knees and tight ankles. Some afternoons at the grocery store, she felt her legs were too heavy to finish shopping without sitting down. Thinking it was just age, she ignored it until her granddaughter insisted she see a specialist. To their surprise, Eleanor's blood tests showed elevated blood sugar and CRP levels despite having no added sugar in her diet. Her doctor identified the real issue: those daily mango smoothies were delivering 55 to 60 grams of natural sugar, nearly 14 teaspoons, every single day. What's dangerous about mango isn't that it's bad, but that it tricks us into thinking it's harmless. We believe we're eating something light and healthy, when in fact it's quietly stiffening our joints through a process called glycation. This makes the cartilage more brittle and less elastic, leaving your knees more prone to pain and wear. According to the National Institute on Aging 2021, seniors who eat high glycemic fruits daily may experience a loss of mobility 5 to 8 years earlier than those who manage their sugar intake wisely. So, should you cut out mango completely? Not at all. The key is moderation and timing. Here's how to enjoy mangoes without harming your joints or your blood sugar stick to no more than half a mango per serving and limit to 2 times per week. Never eat mangoes on an empty stomach or right after exercise. Pair mango with healthy fats like walnuts, unsweetened yogurt, or flax seeds to slow down sugar absorption. Avoid mango smoothies loaded with honey condensed milk or coconut sugar. These healthy-looking combos are actually a sugar bomb for aging bodies. How about you? Have you, or someone you know, been eating mangoes daily without realizing the sugar load? Drop a comment below. I've had Eleanor's experience, if this sounds familiar. Or, I'm doing fine if mango hasn't affected you. And here's a fun one. What do you think has more sugar, mango or a can of soda? Type your guess below, and we'll reveal the answer in the next video. Finally, if you have parents, grandparents, or friends who are retired and love fruit, share this video with them. Sometimes one small change in your diet can make all the difference in how you walk, move, and feel every single day. For many people, pineapple is the picture of natural health. It's sweet and tangy, packed with vitamin C, and often praised for containing bromelain, an enzyme promoted for its natural anti-inflammatory effects. That's why many seniors believe eating pineapple regularly helps reduce joint pain, fight inflammation, and even support digestion. But here's the thing, pineapple isn't always as innocent as it seems. For those over 60, it can quietly create problems for your joints, your circulation, and even how your medications work, especially if you're eating too much of it or at the wrong times. One of the biggest concerns with pineapple is its high acid content. Each slice contains organic acids, like citric and malic acid. While younger bodies can usually handle these acids just fine, older adults, especially those with weak joints or on blood thinners, might experience long-term low-grade inflammation in areas like the knees and ankles, where circulation is already compromised. A 2019 study published in Arthritis Care and Research showed that bromelain, the active compound in pineapple, can interfere with blood-thinning medications like warfarin and aspirin, making them more potent than intended. That puts seniors at higher risk of internal bleeding, including bleeding into the joints. On top of that, the acidity in pineapple can shift the body's pH levels, making already sensitive joints more reactive and prone to pain. Take Michael, a 69-year-old from San Diego, California. After watching a video on bromelain, he added pineapple to his daily routine, some fresh slices after breakfast, and a glass of pineapple juice in the afternoon. At first, it felt like his digestion improved, but after a few weeks, he started feeling a dull ache in his knees, especially after sitting for a while or walking downstairs. One day, he even slipped in the bathroom. His legs felt weak and unstable, something that had never happened before. When he saw his doctor, blood tests showed his inflammation markers had gone up, and the blood thinner he was on was working too strongly. The likely culprit, his daily pineapple habit. The doctor advised him to stop the juice immediately and cut back to eating pineapple just once or twice a week. Within 3 weeks, the heaviness in his knees eased up, and even his gums stopped bleeding when brushing, a known sign that the blood thinner had become too strong. Michael's story isn't rare. Once we pass 60, our bodies don't bounce back the way they used to. Foods that were once helpful might no longer suit our changing systems. Pineapple isn't a bad fruit, but it's definitely not one to eat every day, especially if you're on medication, have joint issues, or notice your legs feeling more tired or stiff lately. Want to keep enjoying pineapple safely? Here are a few easy tips. Stick to just 2 to 3 slices at a time, no more than once or twice a week. Avoid drinking pure pineapple juice, especially in the morning on an empty stomach. If you're taking blood thinners or anti-inflammatory medication, talk to your doctor before making pineapple a habit. Pair pineapple with fiber or healthy fats like chia seeds or unsweetened yogurt to slow down the absorption of sugar and acid. What about you? Have you been eating pineapple regularly, thinking it helps with inflammation? Drop a comment below. I'm like Michael. If you felt your legs weaken after eating pineapple, or I'm fine so far if you haven't noticed any changes. Do you think bromelain is helpful or harmful for seniors? Share your thoughts. Your story might just help someone else make smarter choices. And if you know a parent, grandparent, or friend who's retired and loves pineapple, send them this video. Pineapple might still be safe, but only if it's eaten the right way. Sometimes, just one small tweak can help prevent a lot of discomfort down the line. Among fruits praised for heart health, grapes often top the list. With their thin skin, juicy inside, and sweet, mild flavor, they've become a go-to snack, especially for those trying to avoid cookies or chips. But what many seniors don't realize is that eating grapes daily, even in small amounts, can quietly strain your joints and circulation, especially if there's no balance in how they're consumed. The first thing to watch out for is their high fructose content, especially in sweeter varieties like red or American grapes. Just one small cup of grapes can pack over 20 grams of sugar, about the same as a small can of soda. Unlike glucose, fructose isn't used directly by the body. Instead, your liver processes it, and if your body doesn't burn that sugar for energy, it's converted into uric acid and fat. For older adults who may not be as active, this buildup of uric acid happens more often, and it doesn't just affect the kidneys. It tends to settle in the small joints, like the big toe ankle or foot. Over time, these uric acid crystals form what doctors call gout, which brings swelling redness, sharp pain, and difficulty moving. A 2013 report from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors who consumed over 74 grams of fructose a day, about 2 cups of grapes, had twice the risk of developing gout within 5 years. What's surprising is that many people don't even realize they're getting that much sugar, because it's just fruit. Let's take a real story. Harold, 73, lives in Portland, Oregon. A retired mechanical engineer, Harold gave up soda and sweets to follow a healthier diet. He replaced them with red grapes, keeping a small bowl beside his sofa to snack on while watching the news or reading. But after about 6 months, Harold noticed soreness in his big toe, especially at night. Sometimes the pain was sharp enough to wake him. At first, he blamed it on shoes or weather changes, but after a blood test, his doctor found that his uric acid levels were high, putting him at risk of gout unless he adjusted his diet. As it turned out, the grapes, his innocent little snack, had overloaded his liver with fructose. With his doctor's guidance, Harold cut back to grapes just once or twice a week and added more greens and nuts to his diet instead. Within a month, the toe pain eased up and his sleep improved noticeably. The issue with grapes isn't just the sugar or uric acid. It's how easy they are to overeat. They're small, juicy, and don't feel filling. You could eat 20, 30 grapes in a sitting without realizing you're flooding your system with sugar. For younger people, this might not be a big deal. But for seniors, each sugar spike can quietly damage blood vessels, joints, and even nerve endings over time. Still love grapes? No problem. Just eat them smart. Here's how: stick to 10 to 15 grapes per serving, no more than twice a week. Avoid eating them late at night or right before bed. Pair grapes with healthy fats, like almonds or walnuts, to slow down sugar absorption. If you've had joint pain, foot tingling, or a history of gout, consider switching to anti-inflammatory fruits like blueberries or cherries. Have you ever felt a dull pain in your big toe or ankle after a day of snacking on fruit? Drop a comment, "I'm like Harold," if this sounds familiar. Or, "Never had that," if grapes don't seem to bother you. What's your take? Are grapes good or bad for seniors if eaten daily? Share your story. Your experience might help thousands of others watching this video. And if you know a parent, grandparent, or friend who snacks on grapes every evening, please share this video with them. Sometimes one small change in habit today can help them walk stronger, longer for years to come. Watermelon has long been seen as the ultimate summer refreshment. With over 90% water, bright color, and a naturally sweet taste, it's often considered a safe fruit, especially for older adults trying to stay hydrated or manage their weight. But what many people over 60 don't realize is that this seemingly harmless fruit can sometimes be the hidden cause of joint pain, leg fatigue after walking, or persistent ankle swelling that just won't go away. Here's why watermelon has a very high glycemic index, GI, around 72 out of 100. That means just a few slices can spike your blood sugar in as little as 15 to 30 minutes. And for seniors whose hormone systems respond more slowly than they used to, that spike can be risky. Repeated spikes force your body to release insulin over and over, and that can lead to insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, and damage to tiny blood vessels, especially in the legs, ankles, and knees. A 2014 study from the University of Sydney's Glycemic Index Research Service confirmed that watermelon ranks among the top fruits for raising blood sugar, comparable to white bread. Even though it's low in calories, the natural sugars absorb rapidly, which can increase overall inflammation in the body, contributing to joint stiffness and leg discomfort in older adults. Take Carol, 67, from Austin, Texas. Since retiring, she spent more time gardening and doing yoga. Every summer afternoon, she'd enjoy a few slices of chilled watermelon under the shade. She thought she was practicing clean eating. No sodas, no desserts, just fresh fruits and veggies. But after a few weeks, Carol noticed her ankles would swell slightly by late afternoon. Her legs sometimes felt unusually heavy, especially after standing for long periods. She visited her doctor, who ran tests on her circulation. The results showed reduced microcirculation in her lower legs, early signs of fluid retention, and erratic blood sugar, even though Carol hadn't consumed any added sugar. After walking through her daily diet, they realized she'd been eating nearly 700 grams of watermelon a day, which delivers almost 40 grams of natural sugar and it was all being absorbed very quickly due to the lack of fiber. Her doctor advised her to cut back on watermelon, limiting it to 2 to 3 thin slices as a snack, and to always pair it with something like yogurt or nuts to slow the sugar absorption. Within a month, her ankle swelling eased, and her yoga routine felt lighter and smoother again. Another thing to watch out for: temperature. Most of us eat watermelon straight from the fridge. But for older adults, cold fruit can cause sudden blood vessel constriction, which reduces circulation in the legs and can worsen joint pain, especially in those already dealing with arthritis or stiffness. If you love watermelon and don't want to give it up entirely, here are some smart tips. Keep serving small, around 100-150 grams, or just 2-3 thin slices at a time. Avoid eating it on an empty stomach, or right after exercise. Skip pure watermelon juice. It's even more concentrated in sugar. Pair it with fiber or protein, like chia seeds or plain yogurt, to buffer the sugar hit. If you have diabetes, ankle swelling, or joint pain, limit watermelon to occasional use. Have you ever noticed swelling leg heaviness or dull pain after eating watermelon on a hot day? Drop a comment. I'm like Carol if you've experienced this or never had that. If watermelon hasn't caused any issues for you. In your opinion, is watermelon really a senior-friendly fruit? Share your thoughts. Your story could help someone else make smarter choices. And if you know a parent, grandparent, or loved one who snacks on watermelon every day, thinking it's a healthy choice, send them this video. Sometimes just cutting back a little today can help them move more freely for years to come. Oranges have long been considered a symbol of health. They're rich in vitamin C, naturally sweet, easy to store, and simple to prepare. You'll find them at almost every American breakfast table, whether it's a glass of fresh squeezed orange juice or a few slices served with cereal or toast. And for many older adults, oranges seem like the perfect choice to boost immunity and get more vitamins. But here's the part most people don't talk about. Oranges could quietly be making joint pain worse, especially that morning stiffness, or lingering knee aches that won't go away as quickly as they used to. Fresh orange juice in particular contains a high amount of citric acid. While that acid can be helpful in small amounts, as we age, our digestive system and connective tissues become more sensitive. For people with a history of arthritis, chronic joint pain, or inflammation, that acid may actually irritate soft tissue around the joints, especially when consumed regularly. The pain doesn't strike immediately, but builds up slowly, day after day, week after week. One day you realize standing up takes longer. The stairs feel steeper. Your knees just don't feel the same. A 2015 study from the American College of Rheumatology found that excessive intake of acidic fruits like oranges and grapefruits, especially those high in natural sugars, raises inflammation markers in the blood, such as interleukin-6 and CRP. And in people over 60, that inflammation becomes harder to control. Take Thomas, a 70-year-old from Charlotte, North Carolina. He enjoys fresh foods and often chooses fruit for snacks. Oranges were one of his favorites, sometimes whole, sometimes juiced. But after a few months, Thomas noticed it became harder to get up from his recliner. His hips and knees felt tight every morning. He even started feeling a slight tingling in his feet after sitting too long. At his doctor's visit, Blood tests showed signs of soft tissue inflammation, unstable fasting blood sugar, and a slightly elevated acid level in his blood. What surprised him most, the culprit, was orange juice. Because it contains no fiber, the fructose and citric acid hit the bloodstream, fast triggering insulin spikes and irritating already sensitive joints. Once he switched from daily juice to eating just a few orange slices with nuts or oatmeal, his symptoms began to ease. Mornings became smoother. The stairs didn't feel quite so stiff. Another overlooked issue: drinking orange juice on an empty stomach. That's when your cartilage is most vulnerable. The acid rushes through the system, shifting your internal pH and feeding a slow-burning, low-grade inflammation that doesn't show obvious signs until one day it does. So if you enjoy oranges but want to protect your joints and stay mobile, here are a few simple tips. Skip the pure orange juice first thing in the morning, especially on an empty stomach. Choose whole oranges instead of juice to keep the fiber pair. Oranges with neutralizing foods like unsweetened yogurt, walnuts, or oats. If you have a history of arthritis, try limiting oranges to 2 to 3 times per week. No more than half an orange each time. Avoid bottled orange juices. They often contain added sugars and preservatives that make acidity worse. Have you ever felt stiffer in the mornings after regularly drinking orange juice? Comment below. I'm like Thomas, if this sounds familiar. Or, I don't drink orange juice, if you've already switched to other fruits. In your opinion, which is better, juice or whole orange slices? Let us know. Your thoughts could help others find better habits too. And if you have a loved one who drinks orange juice every morning thinking it's healthy, please send them this video. Sometimes a small change today can prevent a lot of discomfort down the road. Green apples are often seen as one of the healthiest fruits on the list. With their crisp texture, mildly tart flavor, and thin skin, they're a popular snack, especially for older adults trying to cut back on sugar. Many folks believe green apples are better than red ones because they have less sugar, fewer calories, and even help clean the palate. But behind that clean, simple image are a few biological facts that people over 60 should know, especially if they're eating green apples daily or at the wrong time. What sets green apples apart is their higher level of malic acid. It's the natural compound that gives them that tart bite, and it's even used as a flavor enhancer in processed foods. While natural malic acid can become irritating to the digestive and joint systems in older adults, particularly if your gut is sensitive or if you have underlying joint inflammation, over time, that acid can gently irritate soft tissues in the lower body, especially if eaten frequently. And while green apples aren't very sweet, they still contain enough natural sugar to create small but repeated blood sugar fluctuations, especially when eaten on an empty stomach. For someone who's pre-diabetic or already dealing with joint stiffness or leg cramps, those sugar spikes may cause low-grade inflammation and gradually worsen symptoms. A 2017 study from Tufts University's Human Nutrition Research Center on aging found that older adults who regularly consumed tart fruits or fruits high in organic acids were 17% more likely to report lingering knee pain, foot tingling, or heaviness in the legs, especially when the fruit was eaten by itself without anything to buffer it. Let's look at Beverly, 68, from Denver, Colorado. She's a longtime vegetarian and committed to a clean lifestyle. Every morning before her walk or yoga session, she'd eat a green apple, loving the fresh, sour taste that felt like a natural detox. It seemed like a smart alternative to coffee or toast. But after a few months, Beverly noticed her legs felt heavier in the afternoons, especially when climbing stairs. Her ankles felt stiff, and she started pushing off her knees to stand up, something she'd never needed before. Her doctor didn't find any major joint issues on the scan, but blood tests showed a slightly acidic blood pH and early signs of chronic inflammation in the ankle joints. After reviewing her habits, the doctor suggested cutting out green apples on an empty stomach and switching to red apples, or pairing her fruit with plant-based protein. Just 2 weeks later, Beverly felt lighter. The heaviness in her legs faded, and going upstairs wasn't nearly as tiring. Green apples aren't bad, but they may not be ideal as a standalone snack, especially first thing in the morning, or for anyone already dealing with digestion or joint sensitivity. With the right approach, you can still enjoy that tart, refreshing flavor without hurting your joints or your energy levels. Here's how to eat green apples the smart way. Avoid eating green apples first thing in the morning or on an empty stomach. Always pair them with a little healthy fat or light protein, like almonds, peanut butter, or a small piece of cheese. If you experience leg cramps, knee pain, or ankle stiffness, cut back to 2 to 3 times per week. Choose naturally ripened apples, and avoid ones that are overly hard, or stored too long. They tend to be more acidic and harder to digest. And always stay hydrated. Acidic fruits can be tough on your body if you're not drinking enough water. Are you eating green apples every day without pairing them with anything? Drop a comment. I'm like, Beverly, if you've felt heaviness in your legs after morning apples, or I eat smart if you've already found a better way to enjoy them. What do you think? Are green apples really healthier than red ones? Share your thoughts. Your story could help someone make a better choice today. And if you know someone, your parents, a neighbor, an old friend who's using green apples as their go-to morning detox, send them this video. A small shift in how they eat could save them a lot of joint pain later on. We've just taken a closer look at some fruits that seem harmless, but in reality, they could be quietly weakening your legs, stressing your joints, and making every step a little more difficult than the last. But here's the thing, this isn't really about what fruits you should avoid. The most important takeaway is this: you've taken the first step toward looking at your diet more mindfully. Because at this stage of life, good health doesn't come from big, dramatic changes. It comes from the small choices you make every day. A more thoughtful plate of food, a simple decision to pause or say no when needed, or even just sharing a helpful video like this one with your parents, a loved one, or a lifelong friend. If you've made it this far, you clearly care about your health. And from all of us here at Healthy Daily, thank you. Leave us a comment below. Which fruit will you be rethinking after this video? What surprised you the most? Something you never expected to hear. Your story could help thousands of others better understand their own bodies. Don't forget to hit like and share this video with someone you care about. And make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell, because every week we bring you real, relatable health insights made just for seniors like you. Your legs are your foundation for freedom. Take care of them, because your independence starts with every strong, steady step you take. We'll see you in the next video from Healthy Daily.